Hey guys, so today I really wanted to talk about how sharing my story online has really impacted my life. And I was really kind of just inspired randomly to share this because I actually posted a status on Facebook. It's one of those statuses that you copy and paste. And it says, if you're reading this, even if we barely talk, tell me your favorite memory of me. After that, consider making this your status and blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So it's one of those things where you just kind of repost and you kind of just see what people say and then they repost it. And yeah, so it's kind of random, so forgive me if this is not cohesive, if it kind of is a little bit everywhere, because I really didn't plan it. It's just kind of something that I was inspired to talk about. But basically, that status really made me want to talk about this a little bit more because the people who were commenting on that status were actually people that I'd met online or through my advocacy journey. So those were people who I would not have even met in real life, or I would have never known of had I never shared my story online. So it's crazy to think of how many friends that I've made and how crazy this journey has been, from just being a little sick girl in North Carolina to like actually making friends and meeting people, not just with IBD and not just with mental health concerns, but people with all different kind of conditions. Um, so to start from the beginning, I was diagnosed with IBD at 17 years old. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And when I was first diagnosed, obviously I was 17 years old, so I didn't know really much about the body anyway, but I definitely didn't know a lot about colitis. I didn't know a lot about the colon in general. So it was kind of random to me. And I definitely didn't know anyone who was going through it. I'd heard that another girl in my school actually had Crohn's, but I never knew of anyone with ulcerative colitis. I had never heard of the condition before. And I still, at that point, didn't understand how Crohn's really relates to ulcerative colitis. Now I realize, or now I understand, obviously, that they're both inflammatory bowel diseases, but back then it was just kind of like kind of random for me. So anyway, once I was diagnosed, for years I just felt very, very, very alone. I felt very isolated, although I still worked. Hi, Living Healthy, thank you for watching and thank you for your comment. But although I had worked full time for a while, it was still very isolating because I still had to go out on like disability a lot. I still had to take off a lot because I was very, very, very sick. So it did cause me to feel like even though I could be surrounded by people, I still really felt alone, because no one truly understood what I was going through. Oh, thank you, Living Healthy. But so for years, I kind of thought that that was the way it was supposed to be. I thought that that's what people did. You just kind of lived with a chronic illness and you don't really talk about it, because I didn't see many people talking about what they were really going through, whether that was my family or just people in general. A lot of people around me just didn't really talk about their issues. And that's very unfortunate because, as I realize now, a lot of people can benefit from hearing your story. So years and years, in my 20s, I had to have, well, I was in my 20s when I had to have my first surgery, and I still didn't really share that with anyone. I was really embarrassed. I went out on disability at my job, but not many people knew what was going on. So after that, years down the road, I decided again that I was gonna kind of talk about it a little bit more, try to be more vocal, but it was still very awkward to talk about with people who did not have my condition or people who didn't know much about my condition. So I decided to create a blog. I was going through what's called these J pouch surgeries, and that's 3 surgeries that I had to have back to back within a matter of months. So I was living with an ostomy. I just had my colon removed, and it was so overwhelming to me because I was like, I didn't know anyone who had had these surgeries. And I felt like so weird because I was in my early 20s. Like at this point, I wasn't even 20. I might have been 22. And I was going through all these surgeries, and these weren't even my first surgeries that I had to have. But I was placed on bed rest. I needed to do something to pass the time. So I started my blog. Sorry, I'm reading the comments, but also feels great to share. Thank you, Brian. Hi. But yeah, so when I started my blog initially, I didn't expect for anyone to really care. I didn't know that it would really impact people in the way that it did. I didn't realize that people were going through what I was going through, and I definitely didn't realize they were going through it at such a young age. So I felt like I'm just writing my story here just to kind of release, but nothing will ever come of it. So that's when I met my first friend online, and she had a platform where she talked about IBD, and she had been doing this for years. And when I saw her and her work and what she was doing, I was really amazed. Like, I didn't even know. Honestly, that's really how I felt. Like, it was a loss for words, because I was amazed that someone could have so much impact in the IBD community, and she had so much good information on these surgeries that no one else was talking about. So I was so shocked. And it's also amazing to think that you can post something online, and just by the words that you're using, maybe you haven't met someone who was going through that, but just with a simple like Google search or YouTube search or what have you, people can find you. And that's kind of used to, like, you can use that to comfort each other. So it's amazing what the internet can do. And I know a lot of times we talk about the negative impacts of social media and the negative impacts of online platforms, but I feel like we don't give them enough credit, because they do connect. They do connect people in such an amazing way that we wouldn't be able to otherwise connect. And also the fact that people with chronic illnesses really need that. Being isolated is so unhealthy, and it's honestly depressing. It really impacts your mental health. So anyway, once I met her, we just kind of started talking, and we really bonded, and I was able to go through this journey with her instead of just going through my journey alone and just posting things online, which was still very impactful. It was amazing because I know that I was helping other people, but going through my journey with her, that actually was able to comfort me in my times of need as well. Um, so she really helped me as far as living with an ostomy, because it was a whole new world and I really didn't understand a lot of things. So having a doctor's perspective is great. That's amazing, because doctors are so helpful. They can be so informative, but at the same time, unless they've been through it, they can only give you so much information. But when you have these real patient connections, whether it's, in your hometown or just online, it's so helpful to get that firsthand perspective. And that was a major benefit that I had gotten out of this. Now, with time and with networking and meeting these people online, I started to get more opportunities to share my story and grow my influence, which was amazing. It was amazing to be able to kind of cultivate healthcare into a way that I wanted it to be. I don't I don't really know the exact words to say, but basically, it was great to have an impact on healthcare. So instead of just sharing my story with patients, I was now sharing my story with pharmaceutical companies, which would have never happened if I wasn't sharing my story online. Because how would these people have found me? So being able to not only influence my peers and show people that you can live past IBD and you can live past these surgeries, and you can really thrive with your condition, and you don't have to be isolated, because see, you can make these friends, you can meet these people online. Being able to do that in such a short amount of time, it felt like, was amazing. And then taking it up to the next level and actually impacting healthcare was a whole new ball game. So I'm really, my journey has been really amazing, to say the least. Being able to meet all of these people who have my condition, normalizes my experiences. And there's nothing worse than feeling like you're different, you're odd, you're weird, whatever. And for years, I felt that way. But since I've shared my story online, I've had those opportunities to see that, hey, this is not, you're not weird. Like, you might be different, you're not weird. And this is something that normal people, that everyday people go through, and they do live through, and they do talk about it. And it's okay to talk about it. So just normalizing these conversations of talking about our condition, talking about the uncomfortable conversations, talking about our mental health and how it impacts us. It also helped me to talk better with my doctor and to talk more freely with my doctor. Before, I was embarrassed to talk about a lot of my symptoms, and I wasn't being treated appropriately because my doctors had no idea what I was going through. And that's reasonable. Your doctor can't know what you're not telling them. So being able to have these conversations with my friends impacted me in a way that I was able to kind of be able to accurately articulate how I was feeling to my doctor. And that was just being able to improve yourself just by a friendship, just by meeting one person and thinking how far you've come because of that one person who stepped into your life. Um, I mean, I don't really have any words to describe that feeling, but every single one of these people that I've met online, and then I've been so fortunate to have the opportunity to meet these people in person. They have blessed me in their own way. I feel like they already know, because still to this day, people that I've met, it's 2018, so I probably met these people like 3-4 years ago, and I'm still in touch with them, and we're still talking. We're still vocal about our condition. We're still online. So I would say, while it's scary to share your story online, because literally everyone online has an opinion, so it's so scary, and it can be frustrating at times. But if you're considering doing it, I would say just do it. If it's something that you've already been thinking about anyway, then chances are it's something that you know that you want to do. So you might as well just go after it. While there has been some downfalls of sharing my story online, and there's been some negativity, and obviously you're going to get pushback from people, you have to remember that if the bad, or not the bad, but if the good outweighs the bad, then you're still winning. There's consequences with everything that we do in life, but there's also so much positive, and all the positive that you're putting into the world, and everything that you're giving back to your community is, I mean, for me, it's definitely been worth it. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful for you guys if you're considering like sharing your story through a blog or sharing your story online. And yeah, if you are considering sharing your story, definitely let me know. I'm not sure if this has comments. Oh, well, obviously the live comments, but definitely let me know if you're considering like starting a blog or a YouTube channel or anything. And if you have any questions or anything that I can help you with. But thank you guys for tuning in. I know that this was a bit longer than I had originally planned, and it wasn't really that structured. But like I said, this was kind of something that I was just inspired to talk about, because it's had a really big impact on my life, and obviously my work and everything I'm doing now. So yeah, but I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.